Have you ever gotten a message so cold it felt like someone unplugged your entire soul? Like, what just happened actually freezes your brain. And here's my question for you. What would you do if your own family told you that you don't exist anymore? Would you turn the car around, ignore it? Or do something a little quieter? And a whole lot more devastating. Hi. I'm Maddie Lane, 31 years old, a nurse from Denver. And this is the story of how one text on Christmas Eve didn't just break my heart. It ended an entire chapter of my life. But hold on before we get into the real stuff. I want to know, what are you doing right now while hearing my voice? Drop it in the comments. I love reading those. Okay. Let me take you back. I was 5.5 hours deep into a snowy night drive from Denver to Flagstaff, heading home for Christmas for the first time in 6 years. My scrubs were still stuffed in my backpack, my hair was in that messy day 3 bun, and my car heater was fighting for its life. Still, I was smiling, for once. I'd actually been invited home. My dad had texted earlier that week. Come home Christmas Eve, let's start fresh. Mom added a heart. And my younger brother Evan sent a thumbs up, which from him was practically a handwritten love letter. I wanted so badly to believe them. To believe this time they meant it. To believe I wouldn't walk into another house filled with side eyes, guilt trips, and invisible tally marks of what Maddie owes us. See, for years, I was the emergency fund. The fixer. The responsible one. The one who covered Dad's business failures, Mom's forgotten bills, and Evan's never-ending string of bad decisions dressed up as opportunities. Crypto losses. Medical bills. Car repairs. Rent. Late fees. If my family had a crisis, it had my name on it, and my paycheck attached. But still. This year they invited me home, so there I was, driving through a blizzard with Christmas gifts in my trunk, humming along to a playlist full of songs I didn't even remember adding, thinking maybe this would finally be the year I belonged again. Then my phone buzzed once, twice, 3 times. I thought it was a weather alert. Maybe a road closure, but when I glanced down at the screen, my entire world just tilted from Evan. Your name doesn't belong in this family anymore. Don't come. My lungs stopped working. My hands were shaking on the steering wheel. 2 minutes later, my father added, "It'll be best for everyone if you stay away." Then my mother, the woman who used to tuck me in every night, reacted with a single thumbs up. A thumbs up. Like they were all agreeing on dinner plans, not erasing me. I pulled off onto the shoulder, snow hitting the windshield in sheets, and just stared at the messages once, twice, 10 times. And I know this part sounds dramatic. But when your own family tells you you don't exist anymore, something breaks. Or maybe something finally snaps back into place, because instead of begging, instead of asking why, instead of crying, I typed one word, noted, and hit send. No follow-up. No emotion. No explanation, just noted, and the second that word left my phone, something inside me went calm, cold. But calm in a way I had never felt before. I didn't know it yet. But that quiet moment on the shoulder of a dark highway was the exact second my life split in two, before the text. And after the fallout, because what I did next, in the next 10 minutes, ended up ruining their Christmas harder than any blizzard ever could, asterisk. The snow was coming down so fast that it looked like the world was trying to erase itself. And honestly, that felt pretty on-brand considering what had just happened. My phone screen dimmed. The word noted, still glowing like a tiny tattoo I'd just carved into the moment. I sat there on the shoulder, hazards blinking, my breath fogging up the freezing air, and for the first time in years, I wasn't panicking. It was weird. Creepy almost. Like my brain finally found the emergency shutdown switch and went, "All right, girl, that's enough." I opened my banking app not to cry over charges. Not to send another little help payment. Not to rescue yet another one of Evan's dumpster fire situations. No, this time, I opened it to shut everything down, every auto pay I'd set up over the years. Mom's phone bill. Dad's medical premiums, the credit card I'd stupidly added Evan to. The rent payments I'd been covering since Dad's business tanked. All of it was lined up like a receipt. I Never agreed to sign. My thumb hovered for a second, then I tapped cancel, 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 each. Confirmation popped up without hesitation. The digital equivalent of slamming doors they'd left wide open, and then came the big one. Their house, well, the house they lived in. The one I'd co-signed for after Dad begged me with that, just this once. Tone that always turned into just for the next 8 years, the one where I'd been paying over half the mortgage, while living in a tiny Denver apartment the size of a large shoe. Yeah, that one. I logged into the lender portal. My name was right there, co-borrower. My stomach tightened, but not with guilt, more like... Finally understanding, I found the form. Request for removal of co-borrower. I filled it out right there with numb fingers. The snowstorm flashing across my windshield. Name, loan number. Reason for removal, no longer financially responsible. I signed it with my finger, uploaded my ID, and hit submit. 30-8 seconds later, I got the confirmation email. Your request has been received. The primary borrowers will be notified within 1 business day. I swear, I actually laughed. Not like a happy laugh. More like that, wow, life is insane, kind of laugh, because just like that. In under 10 minutes, I'd undone years of carrying them. And the craziest part? I felt lighter. I sat there for a moment, letting the heater blast my face while Semis whooshed past, shaking my car. No more emergency Venmos. No more Maddie, it's just until payday. No more you're doing so well. We just need a little help. No more guilt being used as a leash. I put my car in drive. I didn't turn around. I didn't go home, but I sure as hell wasn't going to their house either. I drove straight to the nearest exit, pulled into a gas station parking lot, and opened the hotel app on my phone. Booked a room in Flagstaff, 4 nights. Late arrival noted. Boom. Done. Then I kept driving through the snow, heater blasting. Heart pounding in this weird steady rhythm I wasn't used to. Not sadness. Not fear, just clarity. When I finally checked into the hotel around 2 a.m., the clerk barely looked up from his energy drink. Rough night? He asked. I just smiled. You have no idea. In the elevator, I turned my phone off airplane mode and my lock screen erupted. 23. Missed calls, voicemails, texts, even one from a number labeled Harris and Cooper Law. Their lawyer. I stood there, elevator humming, watching notification after notification flood in like a busted pipe. Dad, call me now. Mom, we can fix this. Sweetheart, please. Evan, are you insane? You're gonna ruin everything. And then a voicemail transcription from the lawyer. Miss Lane, please return my call as soon as possible regarding the mortgage situation. Your parents are extremely distressed. Distressed. Oh, the irony. I dropped my phone on the bed, walked to the window, and pulled back the curtain. Snow falling, silent, calm, clean. Whole different world than the mess behind my notifications. I didn't call anyone back. I didn't listen to all the voicemails, but I did know one thing. They weren't calling because they missed me. They were calling because for the first time in years, they needed me and I didn't pick up, and that apparently was enough to send them into full meltdown mode. But trust me, the chaos hadn't even started yet, because the next morning, the real explosion happened. The next morning, I woke up to the hotel room glowing orange from the sunrise pushing through the curtains. For half a second, I forgot where I was. Then my phone buzzed violently on the nightstand like it was trying to crawl away. I sighed. Here we go. When I picked it up, the screen looked like someone had detonated a group chat bomb. 37 missed calls, 15 voicemails, dozens of texts, and another one from Harris and Cooper Law. Yeah, they were spiraling, but the real moment my stomach flipped. A brand new text from Evan. You cut the payments? Are you trying to get us homeless? Oh wow, there it was. Not, why are you upset? Not, what happened? Not even a pathetic sorry, just, you cut the payments? The fact he said, cut, like it was a subscription service he forgot to renew made me laugh way harder than I should have. I threw on a hoodie, grabbed my keys, and walked out into the freezing Flagstaff air. The parking lot was crunchy with fresh snow, and the mountains in the distance looked peaceful, a word my family literally didn't know the meaning of. I needed coffee. Badly asterisk at the Starbucks down the street. I ordered the largest latte legally allowed and took the corner table by the window. The second I sat down, the flood started again. Dad, call me now, this is serious. Mom, sweetheart, we're your family. We can talk this out. Evan, you think this is funny? You just screwed all of us. And finally, the layer, Miss Lane, your parents are confused and extremely distressed. Please return my call so we can resolve this. I snorted into my coffee. Distressed? You mean the way I felt for 7 years straight? Yeah, welcome to my world. I put the phone face down and watched people outside scraping ice off their cars, sipping drinks, living normal lives, nobody asking for money. Nobody guilt-tripping me. Nobody exploding with drama at 8 a.m. asterisk. It felt unreal. I opened a notebook and started writing down every major expense I'd covered the past few years. Mostly just to see it in one place. Rent, mortgage, car insurance, health bills, random cash loans, credit card balances Evan dumped on me, groceries shipped to their house every month because times were tough, and all 3 of their phones still under my plan. Seeing it written out like that made my stomach twist. I wasn't supporting a family. I was sponsoring a circus. My phone buzzed again. Against my better judgment, I flipped it over. This time it was a voicemail transcription from my dad. His voice sounded shot. Madison, listen. You can't just walk away from responsibilities you agreed to. We need you to call the bank and put things back. Do the right thing. The right thing. Oh my God, I almost choked on my latte. Because what he really meant was, do what benefits us. Your needs don't matter, but the one that hit differently. Mom's newest message, please, at least think about Evan. Without your support, he'll fall apart. There it was. The truth. It wasn't about family. It wasn't about love, it was about the money pipeline. I sat there in that Starbucks with my hands wrapped around my cup. And for the first time, I felt this deep, solid realization settle into me. They didn't miss me. They missed my payments. They weren't scared of losing me. They were scared of losing the person who held their financial world together behind the scenes. And guess what? The fun part hadn't even started yet because around 11 a.m. Right, as I decided to finally turn my phone sound on, a new notification popped up, a family group chat I hadn't opened in months, suddenly lit up like a Christmas tree. Aunt Shannon. Is this true what Evan posted? Cousin Jake. Yo Maddie, what is going on? Uncle Rob, someone explain this right now. I blinked what Evan posted. I tapped into the chat, and that's when I saw it. A screenshot Evan had blasted to the entire family. Twisting the story so badly it almost counted as creative writing, he told everyone I abandoned them. That I left them in a financial crisis. That I was heartless. That I was ruining Christmas. Oh, buddy, he had nitrogen monoxide idea what kind of storm he'd just kicked up because what I did next. Let's just say, that was the moment things stopped being disappointing and became scorched earth, asterisk. The family group chat was blowing up like a firework factory the moment Evan hit send on that pathetic little victim post. Every cousin, aunt, uncle, and random relative who barely remembered my name was suddenly typing like their phones were on fire. And Shannon, Madison, honey, please tell me this isn't true. Cousin Jake, wait, y'all really going into foreclosure? Uncle Rob, someone better start explaining before I drive over there. And then, my mom stepped into the chat. Mom, she just stopped helping us. We don't know why. We're devastated. Devastated, girl, please. I sat there in Starbucks with my jaw literally hanging open like a cartoon character. The audacity was insane, Olympic level, potentially record-breaking. They erased every sacrifice I made. Then twisted the knife. Then cried about it. I leaned back in my chair, sipping my latte like it was movie popcorn. You wanna play? Okay, let's play. I tapped into my hotel email app and pulled up the PDF I'd created years ago, the the one where I kept every major bank statement and transfer for tax purposes. I wasn't planning on using it, but now? Oh, now it was my little golden ticket for the next hour. I sat there screenshotting and compiling every mortgage payment I'd covered, every emergency bill I'd paid, I swear I'll pay you back, transferred to Evan, every medical bill I cleared for Mom, every business bill I covered for Dad, all of it. In a neat, clean, impossible to misread packet. I wasn't petty. This wasn't pettiness, this was clarity, and clarity is a beautiful, terrifying thing. I titled the file, Lane Family Financial Summary minus 2017 to present. Then at the very top, I wrote 2 sentences. Since the family is confused, here are the facts. I stopped paying because I realized I wasn't part of the family, only the finances. And with my hand literally shaking, I dropped it straight into the group chat. Boomed, silenced for a full 10 seconds. Nobody typed. Not one bubble. Then Aunt Shannon, oh my, Cousin Jake, Bro Evan, why would you lie like that? Uncle Rob, Greg, Diane, explain, now. My mom was the first to break. Mom, Maddie, this is totally unnecessary. Oh, unnecessary? Girl, your son just tried to frame me as the Wicked Witch of Christmas and you chimed in like his hype woman. Dad, you're blowing this way out of proportion. I laughed so loud the barista looked over. Out of proportion? They'd turned me into the family's personal ATM. Then acted shocked when the machine went out of service, but the message that hit different, the one that flipped the energy entirely, came from someone I barely knew, Great Aunt Marie. I always knew something was off. Madison, thank you for being honest. You didn't deserve any of this. That one? That one made my throat tighten, and then all hell broke loose. Evan suddenly reappeared in the chat like a raccoon, caught in a trash can. Evan, delete it. You're making us look bad. Me, no, you made you look bad. I just added context. Dad, you're humiliating us. Take it down. Mom, sweetheart, please, we can talk in private. Oh, now they wanted privacy? After airing a narrative that made me sound like a villain. Nope, absolutely not. I muted the chat, closed my phone, and walked out of Starbucks. Like a woman who just dropped a truth bomb on a small town. Snow crunched under my boots as I made my way to my rental car. My lungs felt clearer than they had in years. For the first time since adulthood, I felt free, no guilt. No panic. No financial leash around my throat, just quiet. And cold. And freedom. But the universe wasn't done yet, because that afternoon, back in my hotel room, hair still dusted with snow, my phone lit up with a call from a number I didn't recognize. Flagstaff Superior Court Administration. My stomach flipped. Why would the courthouse be calling me? When I answered, the voice on the other end was tense. Miss Lane? This is regarding an urgent notice tied to your family's financial case. We need to speak with you immediately. A court notice. For what? And that's when I realized. The consequences of last night weren't done crashing down, not even close. Asterisk for a few seconds. I couldn't even breathe. A call from the Flagstaff Superior Court wasn't something you just casually ignore. Not the kind of thing you silence and throw across the bed like some annoying spam call. This is Madison, I managed. Palms already sweating. The voice on the other end sounded like someone who had absolutely no patience left in his soul. Miss Lane, we've received a formal inquiry this morning involving the mortgage you're listed on. Your parents have contacted us regarding financial abandonment. We need to clarify a few things with you. Immediately. Financial abandonment. I almost choked. My parents were trying to report me for abandoning them financially. I actually let out a small laugh, not because it was funny, but because my brain didn't know whether to cry, scream, or throw the phone out the window. Sir, with all due respect, I said, rubbing my forehead, you can't abandon something you were secretly forced to carry. There was a pause. A long one. Is that so? He asked. Oh, don't worry, buddy. You're about to get the Crash Course documentary special. Sir, I've been paying most of that mortgage for years, I said. Along with their bills. And their emergencies. And my brother's disasters. And apparently their emotional recklessness too.
He exhaled, and I could practically hear him pinching the bridge of his nose. Well,
That's not what they stated. Of course it wasn't. Why say the truth when they could spin a fake tragic sob story that made me look like Scrooge? He continued, "Before we go further, I recommend you gather any documentation you have. We may need it." I almost laughed again. "Sir, trust me. I already have documentation." I had so much documentation. I could probably bind it into a small, sad biography. He thanked me, told me he'd follow up by email, and hung up the moment the call ended. My phone immediately buzzed again, this time with an incoming FaceTime call. Aunt Shannon, oh boy. I was not emotionally prepared. I declined immediately, but she texted right after, "Maddie, please talk to me. This is bad. Your parents are freaking out, freaking out." That's what happens when your human wallet decides to close. I tossed my phone onto the bed and paced the hotel carpet like a stressed-out golden retriever trying to find the perfect place to nap my thoughts. Wouldn't sit still. How did this escalate so fast? A text, then a cancellation, then a meltdown, then a group chat war, and now a court inquiry? I sank onto the edge of the bed, staring at my shaking hands. I didn't want revenge. I didn't want drama. All I wanted was peace, one holiday where I wasn't the family punching bag and piggy bank. But apparently peace was too expensive for the Lanes. I took a long, deep breath, opened my laptop, and began dragging files into a folder for the courthouse bank statements, transfer receipts, mortgage history, screenshots of text messages where my mom literally wrote, "We'll pay you back when we can," which, by the way, they never did. And for dramatic accuracy, I added Evan's messages calling me heartless for not paying his credit card bill last spring. Yeah, I kept receipts. About an hour later, my phone buzzed again with a text from the court number. "Miss Lane, please respond regarding your availability to meet with a court mediator." A mediator. A whole mediator. For a situation they started, but before I could type a reply. Another text came in, this time from my dad. "You didn't have to make it this big. We just needed motivation to work things out as a family." Motivation? My jaw dropped so fast it almost hit my collarbone. So, let me get this straight. Erase me from the family? Tell me not to come home? Call a lawyer? File a financial complaint? All of that was motivation. My phone buzzed again. "Mom, you're blowing this suit out of proportion, sweetheart." And then, "Evan, if you don't fix this today, I swear you're going to regret it. Call the court back now." Oh, threats cute. I didn't respond. Not to any of them. Instead, I closed my laptop gently, grabbed my coat, and walked outside into the quiet, icy morning air, because in that moment, something inside me clicked. They weren't scared of losing me. They were scared of losing control, and they were about to lose a whole lot more, because the next day, the courthouse wasn't the only one calling. Someone else reached out. Someone I never expected. And that message changed everything. Asterisk, I barely slept that night. Every time I closed my eyes, my brain replayed the courthouse call, the group chat war. And Evans, "You'll regret it," threat like it was some twisted holiday remixed by morning. My nerves were fried. I dragged myself to the hotel lobby for coffee, hair a mess, hoodie half-zipped, looking like the human embodiment of "don't talk to me." And that's when my phone buzzed with an email notification. I nearly ignored it, until I saw the sender Vivian Carter, as in my mom's older sister. The one who basically ghosted the entire family a decade ago. The one everyone said was dramatic, selfish, broke, unstable, impossible. The one who never visited for holidays. The one nobody dared bring up unless they wanted Dad to start yelling about disloyalty. Yeah, that aunt, to me, she was basically a myth, a rumor, a ghost with a bad reputation. And suddenly, here she was. In my inbox, my heart dropped into my stomach. I tapped the message, opened. It was short, too short. "Madison, I saw the family chat. Call me now. Viv, no hello, no sweetie. No backstory. Just a command." I stared at the phone like it was ticking. Why would she reach out? She never reached out to anyone. My mom used to say she was toxic, which Considering my family's definition of toxic, probably meant she had boundaries. Still, I didn't know if answering was a trap or a rescue mission. After a minute of pacing the parking lot like an unhinged mall walker, I finally hit call. She picked up on the first ring. "Madison," she said, not soft but steady. A voice with gravity, authority, zero nonsense. "Hi." Yeah. "I got your email." "I saw everything," she replied. "The screenshots, the bills, the lies, the threats, all of it." "Yeah, it's been a whole circus." I mumbled. She made a sound, a mix between a sigh and a scoff. "I've lived this with them before," she said. "Your mother, your father? They did the same thing to me 20 years ago." My breath froze. "Wait, what? What do you mean?" I asked quietly. "They drained me financially, emotionally. Then they played victim when I finally stopped paying for everything. I walked away and they told everyone I abandoned them." My knees nearly buckled. History was repeating itself. "And I was the next runner-up in their family Hunger Games," she continued, voice sharpening. "You didn't cause this. You survived it. And now that you've stopped enabling them, they're panicking. Because they can't function without someone else's wallet." My throat tightened. It felt like someone was finally saying the thing I'd been too scared to admit. I whispered. "They told the court I financially abandoned them." "Of course they did. When manipulation doesn't work anymore, they escalate." She paused. "Madison, listen to me carefully." My heart hammered in my ears. "I'm in Flagstaff," she said. "I've been here since yesterday. And I think we should meet today." My mouth fell open. "You're what?" I knew this day would come. "I've been preparing for it. And now that they've dragged the court into it, you need help they can't manipulate." Another pause. "Meet me at the courthouse cafe at 11. Don't tell them. Don't respond to them. Just come." I ran a hand through my hair, brain spinning. Why would she come for me? Why now? Why after years of no contact? I don't understand," I said softly. Her voice dropped. "Calm but weighted. Because you're the only one in that family who didn't become like them," she said. "And because your parents have finally crossed a line they can't lie their way out of." Before I could ask more, she added, "Oh, and bring your folder of documents. Trust me, you're going to need it." She hung up just like that. I stood there in the cold Flagstaff air, coffee going lukewarm in my hands, heart pounding like crazy. A family member, a real one, was actually stepping in for once. And not to guilt-trip me, but to help me accept. Something about her voice, her calmness, her certainty. It felt like she knew more than she said, maybe a lot more. And I didn't know it yet, but what she revealed at that courthouse cafe. Yeah, that was the moment everything, and I mean everything, turned upside down, asterisk by the time I walked into the courthouse cafe. My nerves were so shot I felt like a phone on 1% battery screen dim. Everything lagging, holding on by pure stubborn willpower. The cafe was warm, buzzing with low chatter, people sipping burnt coffee, court employees speed-walking with folders tucked under their arms. And then I saw her, Aunt Vivian, silver hair in a tight bun, sharp black coat, expensive-looking leather gloves, posture like she owned the entire building. She looked like the CEO of Don't Mess With Me, Inc. She noticed me instantly and gave this tiny nod, stern but not unkind. "Madison," she said. "Sit." I slid into the booth across from her, heart pounding. Up close, she looked nothing like the unstable villain my family had painted her to be. She looked like someone who'd survived a war and came back stronger. Before I could speak, she placed a navy blue folder on the table. Neat, heavy, important. "I've already spoken to the court mediator," she said. I blinked. "Wait, you what?" "I made some calls," she replied calmly. "Your mother and father attempted to claim you abandoned financial obligations you were never legally responsible for. So I gave the court
clarity."
My chest tightened. "Clarity how?" She slid the folder toward me, clarity backed by paperwork. I opened it and nearly fell out of the booth. Inside were notarized statements, screenshots, old emails, bank transfers, and documented evidence from 20 years ago. Everything showing that my parents had done the exact same thing to her. She tapped one page. With a perfectly manicured nail, your parents ran the same playbook, lead, manipulated, guilt-tripped, took money. Then played victim when I finally said no. My throat closed, and now, she said, they're trying it with you. But unlike me, you had the sense to gather documentation. She gave me a small, proud smirk. It was the first soft expression I'd seen from her. I'm going to be very clear, she continued. Nothing your parents filed will hold up. I've already forwarded your documentation and mine to the court. Their case will be dismissed. I swallowed hard. Just like that? Just like that, she said. They burned their own credibility. My shoulders sagged as if a 50-pound weight had finally slipped off, but then she leaned in, voice low. However, she said, that's not the only reason I asked you to meet. My pulse jumped again. She reached into her bag and pulled out a second folder, this one thicker, sealed. What is that? I whispered. It's my updated will, she said, like she was mentioning the weather. And you need to read page 1. A cold shiver slid down my spine. I opened it and I froze. My full name, listed as sole beneficiary, property, investments, a house in Sedona. A savings account with more zeros than I'd ever seen outside a hospital bill. I looked up, stunned. Why me? She lifted her chin, eyes softening. Because you broke the cycle, she said. Because you didn't become like them. Because you stood up for yourself when they expected you to fold. That deserves protection. An opportunity. My eyes burned. I wasn't a crier, but damn. That one hit deep. She reached across the table and placed her hand on mine. You are not alone, Madison. You were never the problem. They were. And now you get to live your life without their hands in your pockets or in your head. For the first time in years. I felt safe, really safe. The mediator called us in shortly after. The case? Dismissed instantly. The court even warned my parents about filing false claims when I walked out of that building with Aunt Vivian beside me. I swear the air felt lighter, and the moment I got back to the hotel, I blocked every single number from my parents and Evan. No goodbyes. No explanations, just peace. Now I'm back in Denver, saving for my own place, taking real vacations, sleeping without guilt gnawing at me like a raccoon in the walls. And Aunt Vivian. She checks in every Sunday. We talk, we laugh. We actually feel like family. A real one. One that doesn't drain you. One that doesn't break you. One that doesn't pretend love means sacrifice without limits if you ever find yourself carrying a whole family on your back, while they stand there yelling that you're not doing enough. Remember this, you are allowed to walk away. You are allowed to choose yourself. You are allowed to demand peace. And if anyone tells you otherwise, well, that says a lot more about them than it does about you. Before you go, you felt this story. If it hit even a tiny nerve, please like this video, share it. And hit subscribe to Silent Revenge Lab. Your support means everything, and trust me. We've got more stories coming.